Hello again. Welcome once more back to the cellar of clutter. Yes, it's been one of those weeks. Not managed to get a huge amount done this week. It's been a weird week. I'm just moving a stool that's in the way. Anyway, been doing stuff that's not brilliantly visual. So it's been some stuff turn up. Let's have a look and see what we can have a think about. This is Leopard Street. Again. Okay, first up, my little friend here, going back to Rails tomorrow. So this is Friday, take back on Saturday. We'll see what happens. I have some more wire. This is yellow wire. This is going to be for the 5-volt power bus, which I'm just going to put out of the way for now because I don't need that. This is another Railway Scenics order, so thank you to those, as ever. I've also got some 702, which I need to make some little power leads. We're going to have a look at what I need those for in a minute. I've got some of these turn up. These are 1 inch. Quite sure what colour those ones are. Anyway, one of them's green and one of them's white. So these are 1 inch 7-segment LED displays. Go that way up. These are going to get used with the turntable to show me the position. The idea is the green ones will show me a position. I'll have a little red LED sitting next to them. So if the red LED is lit, I'll know don't drive onto the turntable. And if the green numbers are lit, I'll know I can drive onto it. And they're just kicking me at the bottom there. They are going to go on the wall down at the far end. Above where that sort of centre of the screen, a little bit further up. Hence why I've got 1 inch ones. I want to be able to see them. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to go back down here. I've also got these. Now, these are obviously the old Hornby. This isn't level. The old Hornby clerestories. These, as you might be able to see through the windows, these have got interiors in them now. I think the screwdriver's down to take the lids off. Go into that. We'll have a look at that at some point. They've had the Seraphim Sepia Games Workshop contrast shade method painted on them. Painted bits on the end, painted soul bars. I've got a rake of 3. They were done in anticipation last week of the J69 video. So I had a little train that, my little friend could pull. We shall see. That's all I can say for that one. There's a few other little bits and pieces turned up. If we come out of the cradle, might make life a little bit simpler. Under there's some cork. There are 2 jobs for tonight. One of which is going to be in the video, sped up. I'm not going to make you watch it. Is tidy this deck area up here. And then stick that cork down so I can get it painted tomorrow. Because I'm going over to Rails, I'm going to have a little look. Now, more clutter. Under here, there is some point work. Trust me on this one. There is some point work. Yeah, there's a slip coming off there. That's going to go off that way. I'm going to get 3 points, one of which goes that way. Sorry, one of which goes that way. There'll be a left hand. That'll go off into the goods yard. And there's going to be 2 more right hands, which are going to give me my 2 suburban platform roads. I figure while I'm at Rails, I might as well get them, is my thinking. So that means I need to get that cork laid. So I'm going to do that. Turntable is still here. Thank you very much for the comments on that one. There is a new stepper motor on order, which is going to go in. It is going to gain some little buttons down here for clockwise, anti-clockwise for now. So then it'll just sit there and go. All the alignment's going to be manual for now. It's got the sensor. I'm going to add all that later. I just want to get it working first. So that's that. Few comments. Kelly's noted, why don't you just get one of the Hornby ones? Now, the Hornby turntables they're actually quite interesting. I used to know a friend of mine when I was at school had one. Well, not a motorised one. This was before they did the motorisation thing on them to start with. The problem is it won't fit in this area because this is 310mm. The Hornby one is quite a bit bigger, because it's got the big outer ring and it's got all the approach ramps, it's not realistically going to fit in there. I've got to say, I also don't like how it looks. Very good if you've got a tabletop layout, because you can just put it on the floor and connect it up and away you go. I'm after something a little bit more, which is why I'm using one of the Pico tables. So yeah, it will go in. Other comment, the reason the station isn't along the back. Now, this is the theory. If the station's along the back, I don't need this upper deck. All of these hidden tracks under here are then exposed. Yes, it's a fiddle yard. However, as Ian over at Trains of Thought has shown, you can make a fiddle yard look quite like a station. I'd have to change the design quite a bit to do that here, but I mean, yeah, you can sort something out. The problem is around there, that bit with the track is only about 12 inches deep. That won't take the 2 running rails and a terminal station behind it properly. Plus, and this is the huge reason, that's the control point. So the station is next to where I control it. The bit at the back is purely scenic. This is why there's no sidings, there's no point work. Well, there's point work at the 2 end boards, not really along the back. It's just purely so I can sit and watch trains run on the lower level loops, or I can just watch them as they crawl round up to the station, which obviously they can do now. We don't have trains running tonight, and the reason we don't have trains running tonight, if we come down here, there's a bit missing in the middle of this. We can see all these connectors. There should be a piece here. The piece that should be there is there. The reason it's over here is because I'm building these. These are the other 6 board controllers. This is basically what I've been doing this week. This is just strip board. Have had a comment on how do you take a design from breadboard to strip board, sort of in reference to the mess that lurks under there. I think it's no, it's not. It's up here. That, which is the controller for over there. Yeah, I will do that. It's a fairly straightforward process, but yeah, if somebody wants to see that, I'll do that. These are the other 6. So these are for that board that the trains are sat on. That's 1. 2 is that end board. 3 is this one. 4 is this. 5 is where the coaches are. And 6 is the little extension piece down the far end. So that's what I've been up to. So what I'm now going to do is clear this desk off. Now, with the best will in the world, you don't need to see me do that. So I'm going to be back in a minute with the magic of editing, where this is all clear. And this means I can hide stuff and nobody can see me just moving rubbish around. Yeah, back in a minute. Okay, so that's a little bit of time spent. Yeah, a little bit longer than I expected, but never mind. So, cork is now down. All the way down here. This bit's not going to get used for quite a while. This bit will be. This is going to be my sort of turntable approach area. All this glue needs to dry. I'll leave that a few hours. I'm probably going to paint it tomorrow. No real rush to do it today. We've got down here then the extra bits of track that are going to be going in. So 2 suburban platforms. The exact location of them is going to be dictated by the point which will be here. I need it to be near the edge of the board, but if we look down here, it's going to be an arrangement like this, and maybe a little bit shorter, just a little bit. So that will determine where that track goes, which will determine where this track goes, where this point goes. There's going to be a point here that branches off. That will eventually go round to be the outermost track down there. There's going to be a crossover about here. So it's going to be... I'm trying to remember which way round I want to do this. I think it's going to come from there onto here. So I'm going to have a little loco stub at the end here. But there'll be a point on... This is the end board. There'll be a point on there and a point here. So these won't be at the normal track spacing. These will be spaced out a bit. Because again, I'm going to have a little piece of track between them. That rear one becomes the goods head shunt and run around. Of course, it'll come all the way down here. It'll curve around this corner and it'll connect to the point that's here, which is going to have another kickback that goes there, and there'll be a few more the sidings. Anyway, that's coming up. This weekend, I'm going to get to the point work to do it. How far I get with laying it is another matter. I might not even lay it yet. Like I say, I've got all this stuff here to dry. I'm still building the board controllers. The thinking is, if I can get the point work in here with its droppers hanging down, when I lift this board to fit the controller, I can also fit the extra 3 servos and another relay board. It's going to need a quad channel relay board fitting to it. There's 2 spare channels at the moment. I'm going to be fitting 3 points. So yeah, I don't want them all to work. I mean, the one that's going to come off here, I may even just put a siding on it for now, because when they all work, it'll actually be moderately useful. As with the rest of the track, it's going to be points, then short stubs. Again, I'm going to have to wait until I've got the uncouplers in, the prototype of which is, I think, upstairs at the moment. So yeah, but as you can see, the suburban roads are a decent length. I mean, the inner one, which is again the departure road, as this one is going to be well over. Well, it's a 6 foot. It comes down to here. I'm probably going to have about 5 foot of usable space on that one. I could run them longer. I'm not. What I actually want for down here is a decent sized station concourse. So I want to put a station building sort of this side. Then I want this bit here to all be concourse. There'll be another platform coming down there and down here. This is actually, it's become a little bit interesting, because when I was designing this track was going to be a lot further over. The whole thing's actually a bit narrower than I was originally expecting it to be. So, I mean, partly that's good, because that means I've got space to put some buildings along the back there. I'm not planning more sidings. I'm not planning on putting more track in. But what it does mean is when I get down there, originally there was going to be 4 roads. There might now be 5, because there's going to be space to do it. The first entry point is going to be about here. It's going to be on this board. There's a board join there, so it'll have to be this side of it. And the idea is I want about, if I can get it, about 4 foot of train length. Now, obviously, the train's going to stop, because there's going to be a crossover. The train's going to have to stop and be uncoupled here, which means it'll hang back over that point. That's fine. Then freight loco detaches, goes forwards, comes back, clears off to turn around. A goods loco, which might be hiding here, it might be the main shunter, which will come back down, can come up, it can grab those, it can then pull them forwards to clear that, so I can have a 4 foot train. Now, that should allow me to run 9 wagons and a brake van as a goods train. There's like a local stopping goods, and obviously I've got various little wagons over there to do that with. There's the tanker, there's some 3 planks, there's a couple of other vans and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be a reasonable size. But to start with, it's going to be 3 points, and then as I've done here, it's just going to be unsecured stub track. So I can run it. It'll give me a bunch of sidings. I mean, off that point, yes, there'll be a stub track that comes off. It'll be temporary to start with, because this is not a point. This bit here will be a curve. It'll come round. And then, these 2 roads here, starting about there, are platform roads. Platform 6 is obviously the runaround for the freight yard, so it's not really a platform. But I can use it as such if I want. Same with the parcels bay, which is currently got some coaches sitting on it. That's one of the things I did actually think about. It has been suggested to put a runaround on these roads. Now, I did think about that. One of the options was, well, there's 2. One of them was to put a runaround on here. So, start about there. So I've got space for a loco. Pacific can come in, uncouple, move forward, and can escape. It can then go turn itself, come back onto the other end, and depart from that road, which is possible. That's not how I want the station to operate, so I don't need that. The other option was to take this road here and bring it in and put a platform there, and then this becomes the arrival road. So trains arriving would come down over the slip here. Then instead of having a normal point there, that would then be a three-way, which would come this way as well. So trains arriving would come in here. And what that gives me is this central siding as a coach storage road. Think about that. I mean, I've got the space to do it. I mean, I've got the space. It's. I'm not sure. Yeah, as a central siding road, it's nice. I could combine the two. I could have the siding road. I could sort of make these tracks a little bit longer if necessary, and then put the escape onto the siding road. And then I've still got a departure road, so then that road then becomes dual use. Thoughts welcome. I'm not by any means an expert on how stations used to operate. I don't have space for two sidings in the centre, which would be a relief road. Well, I say I don't. That'd look like that. Then I would need a gap for my two suburban roads, which would be here. The problem with this then becomes the point work. What it means is my goods runaround road. I mean, yes, all right, it's now on this bit as two tracks. There's space, but it gets shorter because the track coming in will be starting about here. So, yeah, that's why I'm not doing that. A third central road. It's possible. It complicates the approach. It means putting a three-way point in instead of a right hand. It'd be one of the asymmetric three ways, which would give me three roads down here. I'm going to have a think. Thoughts welcome on that one. To the point, I was going to get the points for that tomorrow. I might actually leave that. Or I might put them in, but not do the wiring modifications to them. Just put the frog wires off to the side out of the way, and then I can just run them off here, and then have a think. The right-hand one from here will be useful. So if I get that, I'm not wasting anything on that. And even if I get a three-way and decide I don't want to do this, I can use it in the yard area. That's not a problem. So I'll have a think. I used to be indecisive, but I'm not sure now. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough pontificating. I need to go and think about certain things. I've got a pair of cats upstairs that are going to be very sternly looking at me saying, feed me. So, yeah. Thoughts on track work, more than welcome. Run around in the centre area. A third road, so I've got like a storage road, stroke relief road. Cost difference is 2 points, and this board here is going to have a point controller anyway because it's going to have at least 2 points on it. This basically means I'm probably going to be adding a third point to it. This one at the end is going to have a point on it, so it's going to have a controller anyway. Pondering. What it does do is mean I've got two stubs on the end of here, which I'd need to extend. Because you'd be talking bringing these roads longer at that point. I have pretty much decided on 4 coach trains. It may be 4 coaches with like a CCT on the back, but 4 coaches. 5 does fit in the loops, but it's tight. I'd rather have a bit of clearance, so it's going to be 4 coach trains. I know Chimossiere is down the bottom there. She's lurking. Still needs fixing. I think I know what's wrong with her, but I haven't got around to opening her up and having a look yet. I know she can handle 4 coaches up the incline, so that works. Yeah. Anyway, this is Friday. I'm not going to be doing any more soldering. Oh, yeah. One more thing. I forgot about. I bought one of these, an L-cut signal box. It's an LNER signal box with left and right stair options, and I've also got the 3D printed interior. That is going all the way down here, probably somewhere around here, where the track starts to dip off. The reason I bought the kit, I'm going to be building it. It's going to need painting. It's going to need lighting. Yada yada yada. The reason I've bought it. Let's move some scrap track out of the way. I need to know how much space it takes up, so I can put the turntable tracks in. So I thought I'm going to buy one. So at some point I'll be building one of those. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an impressive enough station. I'm wondering about that 3rd track now. Anyway, right. Anyway, that really is enough. So thoughts, yes, welcome, comments, shares, whatever, all the usual YouTube bits and pieces. And I'll catch you all in the next one, which, with, if everything goes to plan, will be Tuesday. Depending on what happens with the little J69 tomorrow, if it's an exchange and if they've got another one in stock and yada yada yada, brilliant. If it's got to go for repair, it'll take a while. I will do a little update video on that one though, but that'll be like a little out of sequence thing just to show it working. But with that, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Enjoy your weekend and goodbye.